York Enduro, now in its 5th year, is a unique event hosted in the quaint, beautiful town of Sabie in Mpumalanga by York Timbers. It brings 30 top local and international mountain bikers as well as 30 corporate teams to compete in a series of events over a 4-day period. Day 1 featured a lung-busting 8.5-kilometer winner-takes-all dash for cash, just to set the tone amongst the invitational professional field.
So we've got all our professional riders waiting to go.
The 265-meter climb and single trail descent to the finishing line would determine the form riders for the rest of the weekend, with the cross-country stars like World Under-23 silver medalist Alan Hathley, Olympian and multiple SA champion Philip Bass, and former motocross rider Matt Beers expected to lead the charge in the opening race.
The cash for dash was really tough, landing back from Australia on Monday at like 2 p.m. Basically I had a 24-hour layover in Cape Town and then came through to Sabie. I knew the racing was going to be tough. It was like a wide open climb all the way up to the top and then a single track down to the bottom. Had like 3 days or so of not riding, so I wasn't quite sure how I was going to actually do. We got to the top of the main climb. It was like about 12 minutes to the top. From there, Phil managed to just get in front of us into the single track, and then there wasn't much room for overtaking, so had to settle for position as we rolled out the bottom of the single track onto the line. So yeah, I came second there. We are 1 second off of Philip, and then Matt Beers behind me 1 second further.
In the women's race, Frankie du Toit found the going tough against the dominant Valencia duo of Sam Sanders and Amy Beth McDougall. While in the seeding time trial for the corporate teams, Team ABSA led the time sheets. The opening dash for cash did not suit everyone, just ask the downhill stars.
That's tough, especially if you want to try race the cross-country guys on an Enduro bike. But it was actually a lot of fun. It was a simple race, basically a lot of uphill at the start, but once the uphill was finished, it was downhill all the way to the finish. So yeah, actually super cool.
So the opening race, the dash for cash, was done and dusted, with Tiger Eurosteel's Philip Bass opening up his account in style. Team Spur Specialized superstar Alan Hathley was second, while Matt Beers of Ready Rider rounded out the top 3. Team Valencia Sam Sanders claimed top spot in the pro women's race from her teammate Amy Beth McDougall, and Bell Cycling's Vanessa Bell taking third ahead of Teresa Rolfe and rising star Frankie du Toit. The hospitality was world-class, with lunch served at the picturesque Cuddle Puddle, surrounded by the greenery of the York Timbers plantations. It was an opportunity for the riders to recharge their batteries before their assault on the first 4 stages of the York Enduro. Here the pro riders were assigned to their respective corporate teams following a strategic bidding process prior to the Enduro weekend. The professional riders playing an important role within the corporate team, assisting with their strategies and imparting vital knowledge as they tackle each Enduro stage. After a long, hard 10-kilometer grind up the side of the mountain, it was time to catch their breath before taking on the first of the Enduro stages, with each of the stages timed according to its own set of formulated rules. Sarah Hill of Galileo Risk, who started riding Enduros in the USA, setting off in her time run with the York Invitational 3 team.
North Carolina in the States, we have had quite a few Enduros come through the circuit. I hadn't done many, but I had got a trail bike and I thought, well, if I'm living in this area, I might as well try. And my experience overseas was phenomenal racing Enduro. The vibe is exactly what it is here. You all socially ride up to the top and then you just smash it on the way down, and everyone laughs and jokes at the end of how they nearly hit trees or they just made it around these corners. And being here, it was exactly the same, if not more fun. I love the stage race feel with the Enduro scene. Like, what an awesome combo.
The manicured hand-built downhill trails truly testing the riders' abilities. The Enduro format of mountain biking is a trend that is growing in leaps and bounds and has led to the formation of an Enduro World Series hosted in 8 different countries around the globe. It's a massive testament to how the sport of Enduro riding continues to flourish.
Awesome, yeah. All of us got through stage 1 without a crash, so that's the most important thing. Everyone having a good time. So let's see. We've got a nice hill climb to start this one, so it should be a little bit interesting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's great. York really putting on a great show, and from the first year to now the fifth, the camaraderie at all the water points. We just had a soft surf in the middle of nowhere in a forest.
You could have had a pancake if you
We
wanted.
could have had a pannakoek. It's ongelooflijk. It's flippin' rad, and thanks to Piet and his team, he really runs a great ship here. In this region, and Sabi really does benefit from
We
York.
love you, Pete. We
Yes.
love you.
Yes, Piet van Zyl, York Timbers CEO, and the rest of his trusted team, always pulling out the stops to ensure the world-class event and ensuring that everybody enjoys every single moment over the 4 days of racing.
The speciality about this event is something unique in the world. I think what Jörg created is really, really special. You're riding in a really easy atmosphere, and you have absolutely no pressure. You're riding for fun. You're communicating with other people, and you're just enjoying the whole day. And not only 4 days.
Yeah, I'm riding with the guys from the MTO group, and we've had a great time so far. They're quite strong enough, and we're having a good time.
Yeah, well, it's always, the first climb is a bit of a shocker for everyone, I think for the corporate, so we had some pushing to do, but otherwise, on the downhills, everyone kept it together and we're all safe here.
Oh man, it's always such a pleasure being here. This is like one of my favorite events of the year. Flew through from England this week, especially for this, and never disappoint today. The guys put on such an incredible show. The trails are challenging for the guys going at speed, and really fun for the guys that are just taking it easy.
After the opening 4 stages of the York Enduro 2017, it was the local team of York 1 of Oscar Tate, Jaco van Staden, Pieter Kutzer and Heinz Stroh with their pro downhiller Johan Potgieter that topped the timesheets, while the reigning SA downhill champion also led the charge amongst the professionals ahead of Alan Hatley. Amy Beth McDougall held a 9-second lead over young Frankie du Toit in the pro women's GC. Day 2 of the York Enduro began with the eagerly anticipated downhill. This year the pro riders had a brand new downhill course to contend with, simply named Vertigo.
1, go.
They would have 2 qualifying runs with the top 5 women and top 15 men advancing to the final.
I was a little bit nervous at the top, but it was good. You come in to some rock gardens in the beginning, and I got through that smoothly, and then down the mine shaft smoothly, and so after that it's quite nice and flowing, so I got into a rhythm and I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I'd put my saddle down a bit for the run, so I had more space, and that was so much fun. I enjoyed it. So different to riding a cross-country bike.
Stefan Galicki with a time of 3:17.
Despite nursing Bruce Rips from a crash at the World Cross Country Championships in Cairns, Australia the week before, Frankie du Toit claimed the women's downhill event and eventually finished in 11th overall. And a 23 World Cross Country silver medalist, Alan Hatley, who started his mountain bike career as a downhiller, finished in 5th place. Ollie Munich, who's also a former downhill rider, descended his way to 6th place. Despite being categorized as a mountain bike marathon rider, Gert Haynes of Ascenders showed off his sublime skill en route to 4th. However, it was a course destined for the SA top downhillers.
Oh, I love it. It was, we were riding on our Enduro bikes, but it's like the perfect machine to use. I mean, the middle you have a fast bit, then there's a steep bit into a berm they call a gauntlet, and I mean you just got to control your braking down there. So cool. Some rock gardens at the top, and then you have this awesome like dual four-cross / track thing coming down the bottom, and the crowd can see you coming down, and it's just jumps and berms, super entertaining and just so awesome to ride.
Enduro specialist Martin Zitzman put up a valiant ride in his bid to upset the downhill stars, but he would have to settle for third.
I actually had a tyre mishap right before the run. Burst my front tyre, and suddenly everyone's going up to the start, and I had limited time and had to rush back to the accommodation and change tyres. So that was a bit of stress, but I think it was actually a good thing because it took my mind off the run. And yeah, our run was just smooth, and it's a type of course. There's not that much pedaling, but you want to get yourself up to speed and then try and just keep a good flow all the way down. And I managed to not have any major mistakes and just kept a good pace to the bottom, and then had a hard pedal to the finish line.
Only 600ths of a second separated our two SA downhill champions, with the 2016 national champion Stefan Garlicki edging out reigning national champion Johan Potgieter. York Enduro newcomer Frankie du Toit claimed the women's title by a comfortable margin.
I must say, looking back, it's been a wonderful journey. Initially, we thought just to have a few corporate teams and invite a few pros over for a few days to have fun. And this has escalated into something very special. We tried to have a weekend of complete mountain biking experience. And yes, some of the pro riders, some of them have been coming for 5 years. Some of the corporate teams have been coming for 5 years. And a special bond and friendship have developed, which I didn't expect. That was not the intention initially. But there's something special, I think, that this event has, and it makes me very proud that we could accomplish that.
Over the 5 years, many friendships and bonds have developed, with the riders coming from far and wide to share in the experience at the York Enduro.
Yeah, I must say, I learned the guys from York already last year, and I love the work what they're doing. It's so special. Not just putting money into an event. They're giving so much back to the community and developing the sport. And that's where I feel like to support these guys and coming back every year and to show what I feel about.
York cares about Sabi and its inhabitants, and it is very clear when you see the interaction between York, the executives and people, as well as middle management right through. And I think that is really great. We heard about GUT, which is wanting to look after physically disabled individuals. That's also a different segment of CSI that is also fantastic. And we gave 182 bikes away. Well, they weren't given away. That's actually quite a crucial point. The children did 40 plus hours of community service, and the guy, they learn the value of the bike, and I just hope they all wear their helmets.
The racing continued well into the late afternoon as the corporate teams and their pro riders completed stages 5 to 8, with York 1 still at the top of the results board, but just over 4 minutes covered the top 5 teams. With the long uphill time section on day 2, downhiller Johan Potgieter dropped down to 4th place, with Alan Hatley now at the top, ahead of Matt Beers and Gert Haynes. While in the women's Enduro, Amy Beth McDougall had lost some time, but now only led Frankie du Toit by 1 single second. Day 3 of the York Enduro kicked off with the cross-country races for both the pros and corporate teams, before completing the Enduro stages 9 through to 13, ending up at the breathtaking Magsley Dam. First off were the corporate riders along with the pro woman on 3 laps of a 3.5-kilometer cross-country course worthy of international status.
So on the start line, I wasn't really feeling so sure of myself. I was a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous. There's some big names on the start line, so that's always really intimidating. And the one thing that I do is slightly differently from other races is I play the patient game at all times. And we go out hard. You go out there, you can never leave anything behind. But I always try not to get ahead of myself. And today it actually worked. The climbing was insane on this course. And I think having the chance to just spin it out and be patient and relax the shoulders actually got me to catch up with Frankie in the end, which was cool for me because we have raced each other often, and her being U23 and me being elite, we always are like racing each other. So it was an opportunity for me to come third, and I thought, well, why not?
The evergreen Andrew McLean hunted down Dion Froneman to take the win in the corporate race, while Sam Sanders of Team Valencia took a fine victory in the women's pro event. Then it was the turn of the pro men, with all eyes on the in-form Alan Hathely. Following his fantastic ride at the World Cross Country Championships in Australia, would anyone be able to challenge him? The Team Spur rider had hit the front, with Philip Bass hot in pursuit over the 5-lap race. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, reigning SA Daniel champion Johan Potgieter put on a fine show for the crowd.
Yeah, I would put it almost more difficult. There was a lot more climbing than the Australian World Champs. Not as technical, but on the whole, physically, it was really challenging, and I couldn't have imagined doing another 2 laps to make it UCI standard. It was really tough, so no, it was good.
After putting up a brave fight over the first few laps, Bass had lost sight of Hathely. The Team Spur rider was in a class of his own as he carved a lone trail to the race victory. Many parallels have been drawn between Hathely and the late Barry Stander, and one can understand why.
Yeah, I've definitely had pressure to prove myself. I couldn't be the one that was blowing up with 2 laps to go, so yeah, definitely had a bit of pressure on my back, but yeah, happy to have taken the win.
Yeah, I know it's not easy, chasing Alan around on this course. Yeah, it's a fun course, and yeah, it's a hard way to start the day. We've still got a lot of Enduro runs coming up, and but yeah, it was great racing. It's always great racing against Alan. Well, yeah, it's just to see how much work everyone still has to do, and yeah, it's always great to have someone to push you to want to be better. And
confirmation of the cross-country results, the 21-year-old Alan Hathely riding to a supreme victory ahead of Philip Bass, Matthijs Beerkes, Matt Beers and Gert Haynes rounding out the top 5. Sam Sanders beating her teammate Amy Beth McDougall to take the women's title.
2017 York Timbers Enduro.
After a tough morning of cross-country racing, it was back on the saddle again as the team set out on completing the final 5 stages of the 2017 York Enduro. With only a few minutes separating the corporate teams, many were keen on setting the record straight and making a final push for the top step of the podium and, more importantly, the bragging rights.
We have grown more as a company because of the event than the event itself, because we've learned how to work with each other outside of a working environment. You have to do something, you have to serve cold drinks, you have to make banana bread, you have to be friendly, you have to give condensed milk injections for people, with jelly tots on the top. That's not their normal jobs. And you see them and they saw their colleagues in a different light. It's funny how a bike race, I don't want to say change the company, but it has helped the company to transform.
one word, pride. And if people have pride in what they do, then they're going to come out here and in the blazing heat. It's better to stay in Zulu, emtunzini, in the shade. So it's always, we look for shade at the water points. But it's, all the employees have pride and everyone mingles and they welcome us in and things. And I think York can be very proud of its culture.
All the riders here, they take it really easy. Some maybe take it more serious, but like the downhillers, Poti and Galiki and Martin Sitzman, they really enjoy the riding. And today in the cross country, I was riding behind Poti and said, hey, I must go behind you to see you line and having fun and learning a little bit. And that's such a cool event that everyone can come together and have fun.
The final destination after 13 stages of the York Enduro was the charming Magsley Dam, the perfect backdrop to a remarkable day of riding in pristine conditions. This would be the final night of celebrations at the 2017 York Enduro.
Currently in second place, and the man at the top of the leaderboard is Alan Hathley, riding for Team APSA. Come on, what do you say?
After 13 stages and the team time trial, remarkably Team APSA climbed from 4th to 1st, winning the Enduro by more than 15 minutes from the privateers, with Team Manchell riding consistently to 3rd overall. Alan Hathley extended his lead over Mapiers to claim the King of the York Enduro title. As for the Queen of the York Enduro, Amy Beth McDougall held of the challenge of Frankie du Toit to take the title again. In typical York Timber style, the last night together was simply out of this world, with huge bonfires lighting up the night sky while Khan and the John Dillinger Band entertained the crowds well into the evening. On an overcast and cool day, the York Enduro had reached the 4th and final day of racing. The corporate teams now feeling the effects of the previous 3 days in the saddle. First up was a 6-lap relay race, in which the professional riders were only allowed to do 1 lap and the remaining 4 riders in the team would have to share in the remainder of the laps. It was a Le Mans-style start to the race, with Johan Potgieter getting the whole shot. But at the first change, it was none other than Alan Hathley that gave his team APSA the perfect advantage. It was a lead they would not give up, as Andrew McLean, Joel Stransky, Dave DeLima and Colin Germs brought it home as the top corporate team at this year's 2017 York Enduro. The marquee event of the York Enduro is the Dual Eliminator, raced on a brand new spectator-friendly course in the heart of Sabi, where riders go up against each other in a 2-man elimination race until the championship dies in both the men's and women's field. The women's Dual Eliminator came down to a battle between Frankie du Toit and Sarah Hill. And in the end, it was the SA Under-23 National Cross-Country Champion du Toit who took the honours. After knocking out the reigning SA downhill champion Johan Potgieter in the semi-finals, Alan Hathley came up against another downhill champion in the form of Stefan Galicki in the men's dual eliminator final. Galicki made a blinding start, but Hathley was not going down without a fight. They were neck and neck before Galicki surged his way into the lead through the jump section and rode to a commanding victory, Stefan Galicki ending his weekend in perfect style.
And this year's course had a lot more flow and the berms were steeper, so you could carry a lot more speed, and it was a lot of fun. I think everyone, for me, this was the highlight of the weekend.
Well done to all our winners, and congratulations on yet another successful York Enduro. See you again in 2018.